President to the United States faithfully.
That I will execute
faithfully the office of President of the United States.
President of the United States faithfully.
In my country. Assalamu alaikum. Candidate for president, but as a citizen. A proud citizen of the United States and a fellow citizen of the world. But the burdens of global citizenship continue to bind us together. A change of leadership in Washington will not lift this burden. In this new century, Americans and Europeans alike will be required to do more, not less. Partnership and cooperation among nations is not a choice. It is the only way, the one way, to protect our common security and advance our common humanity. The walls between races and tribes, natives and immigrants, Christians and Muslims and Jews cannot stand. These now are the walls we must tear down.
It is the awareness itself that will drive the change, and one of the ways it will drive the change is through global governance and global agreements.
Stated, Obama is primed to create the New World Order. He added, we must forge ahead or retreat to chaos.
So he and Obama together can create and be the architects of the New World Order. And that's the final sign in the Bible just before Jesus comes. You're going to be
Would you categorically renounce the United States moving away from the dollar and going to a global currency as suggested this morning by China and also by Russia, Mr. Secretary?
I would, yes.
You would categorically, and the Federal Reserve Chair?
I would also. We're actually quite open to that suggestion, but you should think of it as rather evolutionary, building on the current architecture rather than moving us to global monetary union.
Others call for America to give up our dollar for a global currency. Gee, I think I've read that in a book somewhere. Oh, I remember the Bible, the scary part. But anyway, that would lead to a global government.
It's not just the global currency. Look at all the money that we're putting into these global organizations
IMF.
like the IMF, the World Bank, huge amounts of funding for the United Nations, which has always wanted world governance. And then the other piece to this puzzle, two pieces of the puzzle, Glenn, are the Kyoto Treaty, the Law of the Sea Treaty, and of course what the Congress passed just 2 weeks ago, which is the Cap and Trade Bill, which basically, to make that work, requires a kind of world governance of all energy use.
Let me go.
That's the next step. You see, the dollar, the pound, the yen, the euro, they're going to make it all into one. And don't you see, Buck? Don't you see?
It is time to secure all loose nuclear materials, to stop the spread of nuclear weapons, and to reduce the arsenals from another era. This is the moment to begin the work of seeking the peace of a world without nuclear weapons.
We have confirmed that the disappearances have been caused by accumulated radiation from decades of nuclear weapons testing. We have destroyed our own children with our lust for violence and warfare, and it has to stop now. I am proposing the complete and total disarmament and destruction of all nuclear weapons by nations with nuclear capability.
As to Mr. Obama's views.
Everybody acknowledges we have to look at a two-state solution. The Israelis are going to have to acknowledge that some of the settlement policies make it very difficult to create a functioning Palestinian state. The only resolution is for the aspirations of both sides to be met through two states where Israelis and Palestinians each live in peace and security. I intend to personally pursue this outcome with all the patience and dedication that the task requires.
כמדינת העם היהודי, נהיה מוכנים בהסדר שלום אמיתי להגיע לפתרון של מדינה פלסטינית מפורזת לצד המדינה היהודית.
Save Our Planet. National Geographic discusses global food shortage. In the magazine's June 2009 issue, an article titled The Global Food Crisis, The End of Plenty.
Last year. And tonight there is an urgent warning from the United Nations World Food Programme that a crisis point is near. Simply put, there simply isn't enough money to buy food for the millions who need it most, and if more money isn't found, then food aid in some places may have to be rationed or even halted.
Well, this is hitting the world's most vulnerable very hard. There's a number of factors driving these higher food prices. We know that the high oil prices really drive food prices because it's fertilizer to harvesting to distribution of foods affected by the high oil prices, but also increased demand in China and India. Also erratic climate. We're seeing more droughts and more floods affecting the food supply system.
That the world is experiencing an influenza pandemic caused by the new H1N1 virus. It has therefore elevated its alert to phase 6. We do not know what picture will emerge in the coming month. The virus has hit mainly developed countries. That is likely to soon change.
On December 21st, 2012, the Earth will be in exact alignment with the Sun and the center of the Milky Way galaxy, a galactic event that takes place only once every 25,800 years. Geophysicists have a theory that is strikingly similar to the events predicted by the Mayan alignment. This phenomenon is called pole shift, in which the entire mantle of the Earth would shift in a matter of days, perhaps hours, changing the position of the North and South Pole, causing worldwide disaster. Earthquakes would rock every continent. Massive tsunamis would inundate coastal cities. It would be the ultimate planetary catastrophe. As unlikely as this theory seems, it is backed by science. Albert Einstein first suggested it in 1955. And a new study from Princeton University reveals that the poles have shifted before.
People of Berlin, people of the world, this is our moment. This is our time.